Okay, Carly, I'm pushing start.
Here we
Start
go.
on the timer.
Yeah, we're setting a timer, guys. Here we go. We're 3 seconds in. No, you can't do a timer. You have to do an alarm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then it will beep and it will tell us we've gone too long. Set it for like 45 minutes or something.
Or no, can I do a timer? For 40 minutes?
But that's counting to what? You want it to count down and then set like it'll beep when you're done.
Yeah, this will. It should.
Okay.
Yeah. See, welcome to our podcast today. I restarted it to a timer now.
There you go.
But
yeah,
because I said, Carly, I'm not going to make it.
Wait. First of all, welcome to Gritty Mamas, a Julie Jeppson production.
Thank you.
We had every intention of getting to Sundara. In fact, Whitney was like, where have you been? And we're kind of like, sorry, we can't get our crap together this summer.
And before I forget, look how lit up I am. I'm glowing.
Yeah. Oh, not only do you have a light on,
yes,
but you also have your microphone on a fan so that you can get some air.
It's sitting on top of a fan. Here's my big old light.
I mean, I told Julie she's working smarter, not harder.
That's right. I'm like just sitting in my own celestial kingdom in the closet here with this big old bright light and the fan like giving me a breeze. I haven't turned it on yet.
And I can't even hear it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it on yet.
Oh, well, okay. I'll tell you if I can hear it.
Okay, good. Because, we were planning to go into Sundara, but again, it's summer. We are running around like
it's literally 9:35 at night.
Oh my gosh.
And we like to air these like at 5 a.m.,
yes.
So less than 12 hours from now.
We like to air them. Well, we like to record them
way in advance.
No. Lately, it's been minutes before.
Oh, lately, yes, lately.
Mm-hmm. So this is the 11th hour. Maybe that's what we should rename the podcast. Welcome to the 11th hour. Where we barely get our crap together and get some positive, uplifting messages out to you when we're alone.
For all of our friends. We have a couple thousand friends that just want to hear what's going on, Julie.
I know.
They don't care what we look like or how it sounds.
I looked so much. I had a farewell for my niece today. I had my hair down and it was straightened. And I can't tell you how many people were like, did you get your hair done? I'm like, yeah, by myself. I did it myself. I actually did my hair. I straightened it and it was down and people were like, oh, because it's never down. Why? Because it is hotter here in Salt Lake.
Bajillion degrees.
It is hotter here than in St. George at the moment.
No, are you kidding?
Yes. It's like some random
heat wave.
Heat wave, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are toasty here in Salt Lake County and Utah County, and it is hot. So speaking of that, I went to my niece's farewell. She's on her way to Taiwan on this coming week.
So exciting.
Yeah. So, and how's your
daughter?
Is
she doing home MTC?
Yeah. Well, she's so advanced in her Taiwan because she did the
like high school program or something.
What's it called? What's the word? Yes, where you're immersion, Chinese immersion.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I feel high. Like I'm stoned on exhaustion, not so much drugs. But yeah, so she was highly advanced. She wasn't planning to go for like 2 more weeks, but then they called her and said, you tested so well on your Chinese test that we want you sooner. So she was like, crap, because she was going to do home MT. I don't know how great this is, but she was going to do home MTC on our Bear Lake trip. It's been done before. My nephew did it. They get to eat with the whole family.
I can tell you. So depending on if you do a language or not, when you do home MTC, I learned this recently, right? Because my kid's only been out for 2 months. But if you're doing a language, your longest day can be like 8 or 9 hours on Zoom. So and if you don't, it's like 4 hours or something like that. Because they have a 3-hour language class if you're not speaking English. So the kids that don't have a language, they think home MTC is fantastic. And the kids that do, by the time they're done, it's like a week and a half, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. But by the time they're done, they're so excited to be in real person and off of the Zoom calls because it can be a lot. It's like 3-hour blocks and they have 10-minute intervals and stuff, but it's a lot. So if she had done it from Bear Lake, it would have been hard to find a good spot to do it in and had the internet. But she just probably be stuck in a room most of the time. It probably wouldn't have been fun anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it would have been tempting, but she's very, very, she's a rule follower and she's you know how missionaries come home and they give their testimony in the language when they return?
Yeah.
She did it already on
That's
the way out.
Crazy.
I know. She's saying all the freaking words in Chinese as if she had just returned. So
Because she did the schooling growing up.
she did immersion.
What's wild is that they actually called her to a Chinese speaking mission. My daughter did 5 years of French and tested out of it at BYU, got the credits, all the things, and they called her Spanish speaking.
No way.
Yes. And so she's like, Mom, my Spanish is terrible because I'm speaking Spanish with a French accent.
That is so funny. She'll be perfect though, because your daughter is in like the melting pot of the US.
So she said, okay, so she'd been in area for like 2 weeks when I talked to her last. We'll talk to her again tomorrow. But she has a list on her email of all of the country people, like the different countries she's met people from. She's got like 15, 18, something like that already in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's where my parents were, and it is just there's hundreds of cultures and languages.
Yes.
I mean, so she's in such a fun spot, I think.
She actually already used her French too, which was so cool.
Yeah, exactly, because everybody speaks everything there. But
yeah, it's been really cool to see.
So, what brings us up to kind of our part of the things we want to talk about today before we get to, I guess, our updates. Or I guess we can talk about the updates first, and then we'll get into kind of our topic. But did you hear that on the other side?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
That
was Xander blowing his nose in the shower.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I just heard you blowing something because I saw you blowing your microphone or something.
Yeah, there was dog hair on my phone.
Oh, that's what I heard. I didn't hear anything from the bathroom.
Okay, yeah, because people are saying, you don't need to say sorry because I can hear everything. But
yeah, we can't hear it.
I guess this mic kind of drowns it out. And I think on this Riverside app that we're using for our closet casting, it has a function or something.
Or it makes the background noise go away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
it's awesome.
My words are gone. Gonzo. I can't even think of anything. Everything is a blur. I feel like I'm like in dream state where I'm like in this psychosis of sleep, but I'm awake. Like
you have a newborn.
Yeah, exactly. Like I haven't had.
You look like how I feel when I have a newborn.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
and I
so
feel
tired.
like how I look. Okay. Which is exhausted. I've had
beautiful. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I have had a lot of dogs this week, but I am determined. I tell you what, I'm like, I love them, and it's been great for the kids to have responsibilities. But I mean, I say it every week how tired I am of it, because right now I'm sitting in this closet. All I can smell is urine trapped in this carpet. Because once they find that spot, right, they continue to find that same spot because it seeps. So I've had the
yeah. We need to get you some of that spray. Did you know you can spray that and it will deter them?
Like vinegar or something?
No, it's like the special enzyme.
Yeah.
So for that very thing that you're talking about, it like makes it so they don't smell that again.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like, they don't keep going to the same spot.
And shout out to Coconut Cleaning. They came and did my carpets. And I need to do it again, but I am determined. Like, I will not spend another spring break like I did with dogs in and out. I will not do this next summer with dogs in and out where, like, I feel like I can't go anywhere, not like I can go anywhere anyway, or do anything because I have dogs.
But even just getting kids to and from their activities is really hard because you have people who are going to come and pick up a dog, and
in fact, that's what the problem was last night. Carly was like, "Do you want a podcast tonight?" And I was like, I mean, I could, but they're not always on time, or they show up.
They were supposed to come at 8:30, and then they came at 9:30, and so it's like, at what point do you? The nice thing about doing it this way when we're not in Sandara is it's a lot easier to pick up and like start and end. We're not setting up cameras and doing all of that, like. Right. So that does help, but still, it's really hard when you're having to work around dogs.
Oh my gosh! Well, and like I have to put the dogs to sleep, because I'm the alpha, so they follow me wherever I go. And I can't focus when they're in here, and then I'm too hot. I'm already fanning myself, just because it's so hot. My whole house, my kids are sweating in their beds. Anyway, so the update with, let's see, my two boys just went on a big young men's camp out where one
How'd
of the
they
boys,
do?
Well, they had 10 mules that
for real, like actual mules,
100 pounds of food. So like the leaders were like, look, if
this
anything, they're going to eat well. So it was hard. I mean, Ari's pack was bigger than his body. So he was like leaning back, because it was weighted. And
well, I saw on your, I tried to catch up on your YouTube. You posted a YouTube. Was that yesterday? Today? I can't remember.
Saturday,
yeah. And you had video of them leaving. Did they walk to the church with their packs on?
Yep.
So
and they hiked in, and one of the boys got appendicitis and like had to be carried out. And then they went to another camp, and they asked the campers if they could borrow their horse to take. I mean, like, of all times to get it, it's horrible. So,
and he legit had appendicitis.
It had burst. So they took him.
That's so bad.
I know.
How's the kid doing?
I think he's okay. He had a surgery that day. They took him right to primaries. But of all times, it's just like, wow. Are you serious? So there was that. And Dan, I got to
Remind me when we're off to tell you about, I don't know if I can say it on air, but my sister, her girls' camp, her friend, it was my sister's friend, their girls' camp had like a literal tragedy at their girls' camp this year. Like somebody was unalived. Well, I mean, that makes it sound like it was a criminal. It was not criminal. It was health related. But a leader in her 50s just died.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
At your kid's girls' camp?
No, it was my sister's friend's camp.
Oh my god!
So it was my sister was talking to her friend about it. Anyway, I don't want to get into it too much because I don't know the details. I don't want to like
horrible.
And it's awful. But it's like of all times that when you're talking about like of all times, why? So anyway, sometimes that stuff happens.
Yeah, that's a good lead into a podcast we could have. Of all times, this is what happened at this time.
We could have a whole like list of in our lives, like really time. Now. There's a do you know Dry Bar Comedy?
I think so. Maybe.
So it's like a place in Provo, and I think they have a good online presence too with like Angel Studios and stuff, but they invite comedians who are not necessarily always clean, but they have to be clean while they're there.
Yeah.
So they have entire sets of clean comedy, and it's funny. And there's this one guy, I think his name is Shane Smith, if I remember right. But they call him the neck tattoo guy because he's like, it's on the side of his face and all over his neck and whatever. And there's this one bit that he does about like watching this old guy trying to like get in his car and drive away. And he's like, I'm in this parking lot. There's nobody else around. And I'm watching this guy and being like, he should not be getting in this car. He should not be driving. Like, this is going to be a problem. And the line that is so funny is like, wait, this is me? I have to do this? I have to do this of all people. It's my job to tell this guy he can't drive. It's like this like kind of scary looking tatted up guy who has to go talk. He's like, I have to go talk to this old guy and tell him he can't drive. Like, really?
Of all times.
Me? Of all people
of all
right
people.
Now. And I have said that many times, like, really? I have to do this? This is my job? So anyway, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. So we can note that one down. We're going to have an of all times or of all people. We're going to have that as another podcast. But yeah, Dana went to not girls camp. She went to Bear Lake with a cousin this week, and sad because she just kind of has to sit around and do nothing because everything hurts her back. We had her back appointment.
She posted something about her back, and she was back at the gym trying to like do some exercise.
She's doing
and stuff.
Some conditioning. She's just doing like most of her physical therapy, like exercises while she's there.
So is she still not doing great?
The MRIs are all improving every time she's gone. Every 3 months. This is month 9. He's like, wow. All of these, the MRIs are improving. The edema, the swelling in the bone marrow is getting better each time, but she's still in pain. So he's like, it sucks when your pain does not match the MRI, or when the MRI looks good, but your pain is bad. Or, the MRI might not look great, but they're out of pain. That happens too. So he's like, we go more off of the symptoms of the patient than we do what the MRI says. Mm-hmm. Because she might have those fractures forever. They might never really close in. So there was that. Anyway, yeah, and I've just been kind of trying to become a minimalist, which is impossible with all these kids and all of their crap that they have in their drawers and their rooms and cleaning out stuff.
I heard, the Lego controversy.
Oh, yes. Only from you. It's the only thing I know is from you.
Yeah, well, it's been getting it even more interesting for those who want to look it up. I'm trying to get what the guy's name is, because Reckless Ben. Anyway, I heard him interviewed on somebody else's podcast this week, And he talks about how like he owns like nothing. Like money, he's like, money doesn't make me happy. I don't want to like, so he got injured and was like really close to graduating. And he was and I think he was an industrial design guy or a mechanical engineer, and he was making really good money, but he was like at a desk and hated life. And so he just like gave it all up and went slacklining and lived at the beach and did all this crazy stuff. And he like literally owns nothing. And he just talks about like how he doesn't want to be 85 and get to the end of his life and be like, I have all this money, but like, I'd love to go and actually live life and it's too late. And I was listening to that and I was like, I want to be a minimalist. Yeah. Don't tell my husband because he's wanted me to be a minimalist forever. And I don't know if I'll ever get there, but I was like, it was just inspiring to hear this guy who's, I mean, I think he's 30 now. So he's at least 10 years younger than us, but just to hear him and be like, I knew in college that I didn't want to own crap. I wanted to live life.
I know.
Yeah. I just want to live life. And I thought that was so cool. That would be another good podcast.
Yeah.
You could go a lot of places with that.
Because we're just like living in clutter, living with, I mean,
there's more stuff to take care of. The more stuff you own, this is what my dad has said. And I think my husband has said it too, but be careful what you own because eventually it owns you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It owns your time. The only thing that we have a limited amount of is time. Right. And if we have too much stuff, we either have to pay somebody to take care of it or we have to take care of it.
Which is why like I'm so hell bent on like becoming successful and doing something to, what is the phrase? Like, I got to make something of myself. I want to be able to, I don't know if it's so much leave a legacy, but like say I did something, I made something of myself, even though I was at rock bottom, even though I was like kicked to the curb, I didn't want to stay there. And like I always say, no one's coming to rescue me. This is up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And I plan to do it. So I have spent a lot of time this week in this closet working on my new little,
business venture.
Yes, business venture is the word. I was going to say side hustle, but it's a little business venture where I'm trying to do like digital real estate and so I've been learning that because I'm like we talked about having skills. So I'm trying to learn about SEO, which hopefully can help the podcast and can help the YouTube page and all those things and help other contractors and their businesses. And at the end of the day, to be successful, I have to create value. There has to be something valuable to offer people.
Be careful though what you define as success. As you're doing this journey,
I'm just saying financially, I've got to just get out of the debt.
I wouldn't even say it's success. I would say it's independence.
Yes.
Because to me, what you're doing is trying to give yourself the ability to manage your time the way you want to, not the way you have to. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I think true freedom is freedom to use your time the way you want to. That's
exactly what it is.
What financial freedom is. Yeah. It's not like you're more successful based on how much money you will bring in or what, like the actual work you're doing or whatever. No, it's how much of yourself are you preserving for other things?
Yeah.
How much, how much can you choose to spend your time differently?
And I'm exhausting myself. I'm exhausting myself doing something that is
my dad would
sustainable.
say, you are burning the candle at both ends, is what my dad would say. Have you heard that?
No, I've only heard it from you.
Okay.
But it just makes me think of the double dragon. Like I'm not necessarily burning the candle from both ends. Like I am, how do I say it without being gross? It's the double dragon when you have food poisoning and it's coming out both ends. Oh, that's what I feel like. I'm double dragoning.
Okay. The way my dad would say that is you don't know which end to point at the toilet.
These metaphors he has. That's exactly right. So it's overwhelming. And then I see my kids get like, Mom, another dog. I'm like, I am sorry. You guys, it's like, it's work, right? But it's like the least amount of overhead.
Yeah.
And it's,
it's something that they can help with too, which is the point, right? It's like, when you're gone, they can walk a dog or feed a dog or clean up dog poop or, you know what I mean? It's like,
you're not making them go freaking 100 degrees. So the dogs are inside. Yeah. I mean, they're just like this walking blanket outside in 100-degree weather. So I'm like, they're inside. So they're not roasting to death. But I'm like, I have got to be financially independent and I have got to build my own little empire that I can rely on and use forever. I don't have my 401k smithereens gone because I had to use it. I had to pull it out and pay. Well, it's just funny. I mean, because I would have said the same thing. So I don't make fun of people, but when they're like, but there's a tax penalty. I'm like, so freaking what?
It's
Okay.
green.
Yeah. I will
I'm in the
take
red.
the
I need
penalty.
green.
I do
Yeah.
not care about this stupid penalty. This is called survival. And when I called, shout out to Lunt Capital, when I called them who had our like 401k, I was like, am I so ridiculous and irresponsible for pulling this out? Because I felt stupid, because you don't pull those out until you're in your 60s or 70s and you're preparing for retirement. And he's like, Julie, you're trying to put food on the table, not like build retirement. And I was like, thank you. So I ripped that out. I owe my lawyer's money. And I know this is like a sob fest every time I get on, but this is the reality. This is the podcast. These are the updates.
It's not meant to be a sob fest. It's meant to be reality. And I think for people like, my mom, I was trying to think on our side of the family, there aren't a ton of divorces. There's a few, but there aren't a ton. My grandparents, they've all stayed married their whole marriages, right? Like
same.
My parents. And so we haven't been surrounded by divorce. I have an uncle, I have a sibling. So like actually an aunt, but I feel like for people who aren't so close to it, it's such a good reminder that this is the reality for a lot of people, right? And I think sometimes you feel like you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to be the Debbie Downer, or you don't want to be like, here I am saying the same thing or whatever. But people need to realize that it's like a death. So a couple years ago, a neighbor lost a family member, and I was talking to another neighbor saying, what should we do? And she said, you know what? Don't do anything now or in 3 weeks or whatever. Wait for a month, and then 6 months, and then a year. And then you be there when everybody else forgets. You ask them when everybody else says nothing, because it's not fresh anymore. And I feel like that's the same way with this. It's like, yeah, it's been 4 years, but like nothing has really changed. You're still hurting. It's still hard. It's still 8 kids without a dad. It's still all of these things. And you need to talk about it, one, and people too need to know that it's still what it is.
Yeah. It's like I've made this comparison when you have a newborn baby, and that first 2 weeks, it's like you get the meals when you come home from the hospital. You got 2 weeks of Relief Society meals, and you are just like, the baby is napping, but like, I feel like when you really need that help is when you're in the thick of postpartum and you are 3 months in and the baby is way out of that honeymoon phase.
Yep.
And they are screaming at night and your nipples are on
your mom's
fire.
Gone.
Yeah.
Your mother-in-law's gone.
Meals are gone.
Yeah.
You are freaking on your own. And it's a lonely place to be. And then you feel like you can't complain because you wanted that baby, but like it doesn't make it any less hard. And so I think the difference for people going through this is that they think, well, there's two sides to every story, right? And there's like, oh, well, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Well, some of us didn't do anything for this to happen. And like I always say, the rug is swept out, taken out from underneath you. And I haven't been able to get on. It's like I'm on this flying carpet that just keeps moving and I can't get solid ground.
The goalposts keep changing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I am trying desperately. And it was, I've been trying to make Gritty Mamas financially, like, working. And then I was like, I feel like we talked about, I feel weird, like gathering money from women for something that I just love to do. And I was like, there's got to be something. And Naoma's going to be entering kindergarten. And so I was like, well, maybe then I get, and still it's not going to be enough money. And I don't want to have to trade time for, 8 hours a day for money just to come home and be exhausted and overwhelmed with the amount of housework I have.
Yeah, that's something. I can't remember who I was talking to, actually. Who was I talking to recently about that very thing? How being a working mom is like having 2 jobs, especially if you're a single mom. Because I was thinking, I think I was talking to my walking buddy about how, I do the mom thing all day. And I had this conversation. Okay, so I had this conversation with my sister, but then I was relaying it to my walking buddy. Sorry, I'm confusing you. But my sister and I had this conversation about how as moms, we sometimes feel bad that like in the middle of the day, it's 1:00 in the afternoon and we sit on the couch. We're like, I'm not moving. Like I'm going to sit here and I'm going to eat my lunch in peace, or whatever it is. And you feel bad that you're not doing something. And my sister said, I realized that even though like my job isn't done when my husband's done, I'm making dinner and I'm doing kids and I'm putting them to bed or whatever. I just realized that my job as a stay-at-home mom has different hours than my husband, and that's okay. And I don't have to feel bad if my breaks are at different times, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just a stay-at-home mom, that means that you do get breaks and you can pace yourself. But if you're a working mom and a mom, right? Like you're at work and you have to come home, it's like there's no break, there's no pace, it's just like full bore all the time. Nobody's doing the dishes while you're gone. Nobody's at home picking up for you. Like,
And in most cases, it's still, I can't get my words out, but it is still assumed, is that the word, to be the woman's work when she gets home. There's lots of good partners, but like,
you don't even have a partner.
Right. But even for those women that do have the partner, there's so many partners who it's still expected for the woman.
Because oftentimes the reality nowadays is that they have a partner, but that partner's also working.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
so they get home. Well, the 90%
both tired.
of the home and the labor is still on her, And so I don't even have the option or I can't even tag team if I wanted, So I'm looking pretty frazzled every day. I mean, I saw pictures of myself. I'm like, oh, I still wear that same shirt and have that same headband and wear my hair the same way. I was like, this is so sad. Like, I have not reinvented myself. I have not become sure, on the inside I become a different person, but on the outside I am looking older. I am looking exhausted and tired, and I am. And so,
what that reminds me of is Sister Hinckley.
Yeah.
Right?
You wanted to
go Hinckley.
Yeah.
That quote that she says, like, I want to go to heaven with like peanut butter stains on my dress and, looking all a mess and stuff. Like, I think part of your charm to me is that on our walk, we were talking about this the other day too, how there are moms that will like show up at church and they are put together, but their kids look all a mess. And you're like, I like, you kind of wonder about priorities when you see people, right? And I will say, it just brings up the story to my mother's defense that one day somebody in my old ward went up to her and was like, I always thought that you loved Courtney more than Carly. My mom was like, why? She was like, well, because Courtney would show up with her hair all done and beautiful dresses. And then Carly would come in with like mismatched shoes and like a top and a bottom that don't match and hair all disheveled. And my mom laughed and was like, you think I can tell Carly what to do? Like, she had the clothes, she just wouldn't wear them, kind of thing, So I don't want to sound judgmental about how people come, but the point is, like, there are moms that you just look at and you think they take a lot of time for themselves, but they might not care about their kids.
Yeah.
But the charm with you is you always put your kids first, and it's evident. It's not like you're this.
It's evident.
Well, like, in the best way. You are not saying, I am so poor, I can't afford this, that, and the other, but your eyelashes are fake and your nails are done and your hair looks amazing, right? You are not taking the money that people are giving you to use for you and your habits or your desires or your whatever, right? Like, you put everything you have into your kids. And I think that's far more attractive. In fact, my sister-in-law and I have had many chats about how we would rather be married to husbands that are a little bit rounder and aging like we are than be married to really attractive men that spend so much time in the gym.
Right.
Because we want them to be around us. Right. And so I think that even though you see yourself aging and you see yourself wearing the same stuff you've always seen, like, I think it's one of the things I love about you because you're genuine and authentic. And when you say you don't care, you don't care.
I really don't. I know. And what happens when the mom is disheveled and looking a fool at church, but also the kids are too? Then what?
Again, that's real life. Do you know that I always thought that I would have these boys that were, because I just think little boys are so cute and they have such cute clothes that I was like, for sure I'm going to be a boy mom and they're going to come, they're going to have the best suits and ties and whatever. I literally don't think that my boys have worn a tie one time to church. Not once. Why? Because it's way too hard to get everything together, and two, to talk them into doing it. And I can't force them to do it because I wouldn't want to wear a tie either.
Right.
Like, all of our like tactile issues that we have is like the ADHD and whatever.
Yes.
Like, I'm not forcing you to do that. I just want you
Right.
to sit in this chair for as long as you can.
Right.
Bring whatever you need to stay in this chair, please, for the love of all things. Right? Like, just
Well,
sit.
well, you talked about Marjorie Hingley saying that she wanted to go, to heaven with wrinkles and all. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want to go to heaven with a smile.
Yeah.
Just want to be able to say, Heavenly Father, I tried.
Go see
Crawling.
Jesus and you'll have a big smile on your
I
face.
hope so. Crawling to the finish line. Holy moly. So that's what I talked about last week in the podcast was like looking back in old journal, well, like, my daily planners in high school and looking forward and seeing how far I've come or how far I have
Which
to
I
go.
loved.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something I still like to do. And I was looking back on my journal again about feelings that I had and where I am today. And, I mean, it's like when you see someone, it's been a while and their hair is 10 times longer and you're like, holy crap, your hair has grown so long. But the person with the hair hasn't noticed, right? Because they live with
That's me
themselves.
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you live with yourself, you don't realize how long your hair is getting.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like with me, spiritually, emotionally, financially, like I mean, I'm sure it's getting better. Sometimes I still feel so despairing a lot of the time, but I'm sure objectively, or if I saw myself, if I was my best friend seeing myself, I would be able to say, no, you have, like I said, my friends had written that
Yeah, that was so
success
cool.
story, and it was so sweet, and I have it hanging up, and I just add to it. I just add little writings to it. Like I did this and I learned this, which is awesome, but also sad that I feel like I'm like, I have to sit there and like remind myself that I've done good things and I've accomplished
But you
hard
know what,
things and I'm
Julie?
still going.
Everybody has to. I don't care if you're married or single, kids or no kids, what your career looks like. I think everybody gets to a point in their life. In fact, I went to an activity once and I was telling my mom, I cannot remember if it was a Relief Society activity or a Fifth Sunday lesson. I can't remember. But whoever was speaking, I think it was from the stake, and they had like a timeline on the board and they wrote little one or two words there and said, okay, pick one of these and I'm going to tell you a story that happened with that. And then so they're explaining their life story and what they learned from that. And as they talked more, they said, these are the points in our lives that remind us of things that we don't want to forget, basically, like they're journaling, right? And the point was to go back on this timeline in 5 years and look back at this timeline that they had written down and see how far they'd come, because that's how you can see the hand of the Lord in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, they're speaking to everybody, right? Like whether it's you need to be reminded of all your accomplishments because nobody's there to do it for you and you're feeling low, or if it's like, man, I don't think I felt the Spirit for a while. I really feel low and like I can't hear him, and then you can go back and be reminded of these experiences and how you heard him then, right?
Yeah.
Like there's different times that you feel low and you need to be reminded. That's why journaling is so important. I love that episode because I just thought, yes, we all need to. I'm terrible at journaling. Terrible. That's why I was so good on Instagram for a while, because
Yeah.
it was kind of my journal, especially with my little kids. But I think it's so important to be able to, if you're not surrounded by people who remind you, which thank heavens you are, that you have those friends that did that, but if you're not reminded by people like that, you can do it yourself and be like, okay, I noticed that I'm at a low point. I need to go back and remember the highs to get me through. I think there's maturity in that, but I think that there's some spiritual depth there too, and emotional progress to be able to notice where you're at and know you need that pick me up, but also just to go and say, I need to be reminded of those tender mercies. Have I talked on the podcast about my friend's analogy, my friend from Vegas, about tender mercies?
I don't think so. Remind me after to talk about my sister missionary experience.
Okay, yes. So I'll just tell you real fast. This is during 2021. We were still doing Zoom church. And I was talking about tender mercies. And one of the gals who I just love, she was raised in Vegas. She made a comment about tender mercies and how growing up in Vegas, it's always so hot, and you get out of a pool and you get out, and where do you go? You got to find, you're going to go to the grass or your chair or wherever you're going. But to get from the pool to the chair, you like find a route, right? It's like, where somebody stepped before? Where is a shadow that you can step in, right?
Because your feet are going to burn.
Yes, because exactly, your feet are going to fall off. And so, and I think about this every summer at my son's swim meets, because it's the same way. I'm like, oh, I forgot my shoes. Now I can't get to, from point A to point B. But anyway, she said that every time you step on somebody else's footprint that was wet, or you find a shadowy spot on the way to where you're going, that is like a tender mercy.
Mm.
And I feel like if you are, and to me, that's so relatable, because I've forgotten my shoes many times, or they're not waterproof or whatever. Or you get out of the pool and that's where you are, right? That experience. And so it's so relatable to me. But I feel like if you have that timeline and you look at where your accomplishments have been, or your big spiritual experiences, or the memorable things, that's how those are those footprints. Those are the cooler cooler spots. I can't even speak myself. That you look for on your way somewhere. So you're
I
looking
love that
backwards.
because it's like I mean, I'm thinking of Indiana Jones, or like the times where you have to step on a certain rock. And if you step on the wrong rock, you're going to, fall through the
Yes.
middle, or that big leap of faith when he takes the big step and he lands on the invisible and he has to throw the grain of sand. I
Yep.
think is it Temple of Doom? No, it's Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I think. Or is it the Last Crusade? It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
when Harrison Ford throws out that grain of salt or whatever to see that bridge that he can walk on, and I do love that, because it's like what I hate, and I'm gonna have a
Clarity.
conversation. Yeah, I'm gonna have a conversation with God about this when I die, and when I get to the other side, I'm gonna say, listen, do we really have to do line upon line, precept upon precept, little by little?
Can you just download it all?
Here a little, there a little, by and by. Like, come on, not by and by, now and now, or more and more. Like, what the heck? Everything.
You need a faster upload speed. Is that what you're saying?
If you don't mind, these little spots for my toes in the shade is great, and thank you. But if you could make that a little bigger, that'd be helpful. So it's one of my beefs, but you're right. I need to look at these journals and these look backs as something where I can see the hand of God, and my own little, I don't know if they're miracles so much as they are, he's aware of me. Mm-hmm. I get sometimes tired of hearing God is in the details. I know that he is, but sometimes when you're in it, I'm like, where? Tell me where.
Well, it's hard to look for them to see them, right? Like,
and then I feel ungrateful, and then I'm repenting at night, because I'm like, I know that I have been blessed with tons and tons of. One just happened to me yesterday. This sweet, sweet girl named Camilla. She probably doesn't want me to share, because she wants to just do it because she wants to help. She came over, and number one, she brought us all of the leftover food, and it was good. It wasn't like leftover funeral food or moldy food from July 4th, their big ward breakfast, neighborhood breakfast. Oh. Fresh strawberries, fresh blueberries, a ton of sausage, which I was feeding to my dogs because I was out of dog food. Scrambled eggs, just whipped cream. My kids were just like putting it in their mouth, like tons of food. And then the next day she comes and she's like, hey, do you need a car? And I was like, yes, actually, my van has been in the shop for a month and a half. She's like, you can have my car. I'm getting a new one, and we don't need this anymore. And I was like, yeah, but you can sell it. She's like, I don't want to. I don't want to go through the hassle. And, it has 225,000 miles. It's not going to last much longer, but she just gave me her car.
What? You didn't even tell me that. That's amazing.
It just barely happened. And I was like, wow, because you wait for the big explosions of fireworks for the Lord to show his fingers and his his ways and his methods, and it's usually through other people, which is
100%.
It always is, at least for me. And so, speaking of that, I remember.
Do you want to tell your missionary story?
Yeah, this is it. Okay. I remember being in despair. This is when I was my parents, for their 50th wedding anniversary, had we're at 1minute and 41 seconds left. We'll hurry up. But they had planned a big cruise around the Mediterranean. So we went to Rome and France for a day and Spain for a day. And I mean, not long enough, obviously, but it was just like in some peninsula. I don't even know, but they paid for all of us, which doesn't happen. Wow. It was their 50th wedding anniversary. It was a big deal. And I was so looking forward to this. And I thought that maybe me and the petitioner could reconnect. And, he was paid for, and we were planning on this. And just a few, week before, he's like, I'm not going. And this is during, he left August of 2022. The trip was in September. 4 weeks
Okay.
after he left. So I was like,
But he hadn't said he was done yet. This was his trial period of like,
this
do
was
I want
his,
to?
like, I need to rediscover myself and see if I want you
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
basically. You know, he doesn't say that out loud. He says that he went to look for work, which is a half truth. That's
Mm-hmm.
the truth that makes it look like he's not a jerk.
Right.
But really, he left because he told me he wanted out, but that he needed time to know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just in this I was like on trial, which is funny because he said that to me, that I just got a thumbs up. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're watching, somebody gave me a thumbs up on the screen. Is there a secret watcher or listener somewhere?
Where the heck did that come from?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of scary. Who's listening? Which is also stupid because anyone can listen to this. But he once told me that he thought that he was on trial by my family. And I was,
There it
oh
is.
dear.
Okay, hit
Anyway.
the snooze button.
Okay, snooze. Shoot. So anyway, he's on his trial. He had told me he wanted to leave for 2 months, and he took his full 2 months, and he didn't tell me where he was other than Vegas. He wasn't responding to anything. He was just MIA. And I didn't know where he was staying. I didn't know what he was doing. And he just, which is abusive. It was just cut cold turkey. It was silent treatment on steroids, like nothing.
Well, you're home with your 8 children, by the way.
Also with no money, which is like, I was like, oh my, what am I supposed to do here? Because I'm like waiting for
How do you
him.
feed your babies?
Yeah. So which is why the credit card started going up and up and up. So 2 months worth is 15 grand.
Ooh,
You know what I mean? Like, and that's being very
stingy.
yeah, at $7,000 a month times 2. $7,000, like, so mortgage, health insurance. At that point, I was paying $1,500 a month in health insurance,
Oh my gosh.
$1,500 a month in my mortgage. So that's $3,000 right there. Food, $4,000, and then let's add another $3,000 for a repair, their extracurriculars, medical. Like, it wasn't like it was $20,000 a month.
Right.
But in 2 months where he's gone, the credit card is now I have.
What?
If you're watching, I just had balloons come up on my screen. And that's nothing to celebrate. Oh my gosh. And then I feel like I'm hallucinating. I feel like I'm high.
I saw it,
like,
Julie. I saw it. You are not hallucinating.
Good. So anyway, I'm going to try to be fast. But I'm just like on hold. Everything's on hold. The bills are stacking. In 2 months, they stack up to 15 grand. And there was already probably 5,000 on the card. So I'm at $20,000 on the credit card. And he is just gonzo. So I'm in despair financially. I'm in despair with my marriage because I don't know if he's coming back, but I don't want to push him because I don't want to push him away more. And, but he's just gone. And then he drops the bomb and says, I'm not going on this trip. And I was like, I guess it was an expectation or a hope that I had that was crushed because I thought we could reconnect. I thought it would just be the two of us. And my parents had paid for him and we could, have all the sex we wanted without, and not have a baby on my hip and not have a baby nursing or
what
I
a
wasn't
perfect
pregnant.
opportunity.
I think that I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. I said it a long time ago because when he left, I think that the part that was most difficult for me or one of the saddest things for me, one of the biggest losses was that I was so excited to like now redevelop the relationship with him.
Yeah.
Where I didn't have babies on my hip. And I
mean, that really is a whole different phase of life and marriage. I mean, we've been kind of doing that the last couple of years and we'll continue to do that. Like when you're finally done having babies and you'd be like, okay, who are we now?
Right. And I was like, we can just go play and travel and not take anyone with us. And I don't have a single embryo inside of me. I'm not nursing anything. And that's when he left. Right when I was finally reached that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was so heartbroken because I was like, oh my gosh, like, dude, I can now come. It's like the lizard or the snake. I'm coming out of my old shell,
skin, yeah,
and becoming this new woman again. Now having so much experience. Like now I'm a different person. I've had 8 children and some of them were unmedicated. I've gone through things that I didn't think that I could do. And we've grown together closer and further apart and back closer. So surely this is just a break for him. Let me give him his space. And then he says, I'm not coming. So I was crushed because I was like, and then he's like, these are the things that I have planned and I'll come see the kids if and when I can. And
Which he never did he?
Well, I was like, well, if you're not going to come on this trip, why don't you just come home? I'll be gone, and you can just stay with them. And he basically said that's not going to work. And let the nanny that I had hired, your friend and mine, take over for 14 days. And so then I had to pay for that. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that I fell into this hour of sobbing, just in despair, because I felt like it was over, because that was
you were actually brokenhearted.
Yeah. It was my chance to be like, me and him, we're going to have this great time in Europe, his homeland. We're going to, be on a cruise ship, and we get to go explore Rome, and just me and him and my siblings and their spouses and my parents, and celebrating marriage and family. And then I was embarrassed because he was paid for, and just said, I'm not coming. Then I felt like I had to make it up to my parents. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is $10,000, I'm sure, that he cost. And just was like, I don't care. And I just sobbed and saw just the lack of courtesy, the lack of respect, just didn't give a flying rip, the domino effect. So I cried and cried, and I was pleading. I mean, it sounds kind of pathetic, but it was more than just, I felt sad. I was crushed because the opportunity to rekindle that, marriage
it's like
bond.
The hope that you had was just gone.
Yeah.
You were without hope.
And it was true. It was true. We never did ever get that opportunity again, because he went forward with it,
Yeah, of course not.
And so never again. That was the end of it. And so those cries and those tears were heartbreak and the, I guess, realization that it was never going to happen again. And that was the one chance. And so I sobbed, and I was pouring my heart out to God and pleading. And, my patriarchal blessing says that I will get help the hour that I need it, when I need it, in the very hour that I need it. And I was like, I need it now. I need some sort of, give me something to know that what's going on. And my doorbell rang. And this is
is this when the missionaries came by?
Yeah. This is the second time this has happened to me. The doorbell rang, and instantly I was like, oh, who's here? In my moment of despair.
Yes.
And I went upstairs and I looked through my peephole, and it was the sister missionaries. And I was like, oh, and I did not. But then my heart quickly switched, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're sent to me. They're here for me. And I know this because I've been a sister missionary. And you don't feel inspired. Let's go to this house. You just go because you're on that route or something.
Well, let me tell you something. When it was Mother's Day, Ellie had her name badge on, and retired, I guess you say. What?
Ellie's your missionary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. My missionary. Yeah. But she, so she's about to leave to go to the MTC. And I want to say a retired mission president, return mission president, whatever you say. He's been in our ward for a couple of years now. He stops her and starts talking to her. And one of the things, I won't go into it all now, but one of the things that that caught me by surprise that he told her was, don't introduce yourself as missionaries. Introduce yourself as true messengers of Jesus Christ. And it struck me, and I loved it. And we can talk more about that later. But when you apply that to what you're talking about right now, and you're pleading to the Lord, and true messengers of Jesus Christ show up on your doorstep, if you think about it that way, it just makes that story seem even better, because they are his messengers. He asked, he responded.
Yeah. And it wasn't a way that I thought would be, because at first I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for, and then instantly it must have been the Spirit touching me. I was like, oh my heck, they're here for me. They're here to comfort me. And I opened the door and I chatted with them, and midway through it, because I wanted them to know And I wanted them to remember this and maybe write it down in there, because I'm just a lame, active member of the church where they're kind of like, we're not doing any reactivating. She's not a golden investigator. She knows about the church. She has a calling. Like, this is like, not a waste.
I'm
but
sure they actually loved it just because you didn't spit in their face. So,
yeah.
there's
So
that.
they came in and they didn't even ask for him, because usually they do, right? Usually they're looking like behind me for the petitioner. Oh, he's saying on my mom's mission while she was out, like, and I'm always like, oh, here's a CD on your way. Go ahead. But he didn't come up, and I knew that they weren't here to rub shoulders. And so I invited them in, and after they gave me their little message, I said, sisters, I just want you to know you were sent to me today. I was having a rough hour, heartbroken and crying, and I really think that the Lord sent you to me today just to be with me. And thank you for that. And they were like, really? Wow, because this is not our route. We actually had a missed appointment and we turned this way instead and just came in here and decided to come and visit you. I was like, that was the Spirit. That was Jesus taking the wheel, baby. He took it and sent you to me. And it reminds me of Jack Christensen. I think he was in the 70s. I don't know. He's just this amazing speaker. And he has this talk. I should link it, or at least this piece of it. But he's talking about listening to the Spirit. And he was a stake president at the time who was like a bishop of a lot of people. And he's like, the Spirit does not speak to you with lightning bolts and do this. Like, he's like, I was on the road and I was starving. And I saw Subway, a billboard. And he's like, ooh, that looks good. And he said, but then a mile later, I saw Burger King special, $1.99. And he's like, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I want. And so he takes that exit, goes into the Burger King. And he said, and it was there that somebody said, Brother Christensen, inside. And this is like in Timbuktu. Like this is like in the middle of nowhere, because he's traveling, goes into some random podunk Burger King. And he's like, it was a member of my stake who was struggling and having the hardest time. And we sat there and he said the words, we had a glorious meeting in Burger King where, we were able to connect, and I was able to help him through this. And he said, so the Spirit doesn't talk to you and say, turn in, Brother Christensen, take exit 47 into Burger King. There is a struggling member of your ward in that Burger King. You need to talk and uplift. He said, the Spirit simply said to me, Burger King special, $1.99. And that is sometimes how it works.
It's true.
Because
100%.
I was like, Heavenly Father, please help me. I'm so sad and heartbroken. Ding dong. And I was like, oh, for the love, who's here to bother me?
I can talk to you guys for probably 3 hours about the different experiences that I have had in Costco.
Oh, I know, because you have this gift of running into people.
It's Costco, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, other places, but probably...
There's another podcast, Carly and Costco.
Seriously, though. I mean, for maybe 5 out of every 6 times that I have these experiences, it's in Costco.
Wow.
I think it's just because it's a common place where a lot of people go, and so if somebody needs me, they'll find me at Costco.
That is so funny. And it happened to me again when I was on my mission and got my first kidney stone. And I was in so much pain, vomiting like violently from pain, just like Adana was a couple weeks ago. But like, I'm in Paraguay. I'm in the armpit of South America. I don't even speak the language yet. I am fresh in the field. And I remember praying to God. I said, either heal me or take me, or like kill me. Seriously, kill me, because
I can't do this anymore.
It was so painful. And I've had unmedicated babies, and the kidney stones are worse. It's a relentless, and you don't know when they're going to end. Mm-hmm. And then again, my doorbell rang. So I always get the doorbell, and I'm not complaining. And then it happened another time when we were being sued. Surprise, surprise, because someone was shady in the business. And we were owing, which I didn't even know about, $100,000 to someone. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how are we going to pay for this? What are we going to do? And we had a deadline. And if we didn't pay them so much money, then they were going to serve us paperwork, like full on, like filings. And can you hear that dog whining?
Yeah, I can hear a little bit.
Okay. So anyway, and the very day, probably the very close to the hour that we had this deadline, the mailman delivered like my tax return or something. And I hadn't gotten refunds for a long time because I was doing foreclosures for my dad's law firm and I had to pay my own taxes and put money aside. But we were able to keep a huge chunk of change that I had saved for taxes. And anyway, we used that in that very hour to pay these guys.
Wow.
So you're right. Like he's working out the kinks and is in the details. As much as I hate that phrase because it feels like, come on, when are you going to step in? I'm on year 4. Which brings me into really quickly what we were going to talk about tonight was kind of like, and I got a thumbs up again. I hear on my screen. I don't know. But we were going to talk about some of the mottos that we like live by. And for me and my kids, something that we have been saying, it's on my wall, is just be of good cheer and have no fear. For I, the Lord, am with you, even though it feels like you are all freaking alone. Be of good cheer, have no fear. And then as well as the one that I did last week, I really live by it. God does not begin by asking us our ability, only our availability. And if we prove our dependability, he will increase our capability.
I actually listened to that episode. I was like, I got to write that down.
I know.
Text that to me.
It's on my fridge. And so I see it and I'm opening that fridge all the time, baby. So when I see it every time I open it, and it's of course by the king of like parables, Neil A. Maxwell.
Oh, yes.
God does not begin by asking us our ability. It's like, doesn't care if you can do it or not. Just asks if you're able or willing.
Your availability. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I love that.
If you prove that you're dependable, then he will magnify all of it. And so I've kind of strived off of that. What's one of yours? What did you have?
Well, when I was in high school, I don't remember a lot of things clearly, but I do remember sitting in a chapel and having a fireside and somebody saying, now remember, I'm one of only a few LDS people in my high school, right?
Yeah.
So I have friends, but I don't get invited to things because I don't drink. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm friends, but I don't know what my friends are off doing, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so this hit me, but it was dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose, and dare to make it known. And
that is so you, Carly, who's getting shredded on the podcast for things that she makes known that she believes in.
Oh, I don't get shredded. I've only made a comment back a couple times. People got bent out of shape about Erica Kirk. And I was like, I've been so embedded in this case for so long. I forget that there are some people who haven't done any research and have no idea the details. And I just have to, I said to one of them, I said, I have done hundreds of hours on this. And they're like, you've done hundreds of hours researching Erica Kirk? That's so creepy, or something like that. And I was like, I didn't mean just on Erica Kirk.
Yeah.
Like I've done, anyway, doesn't matter. But no, they don't shred me and I don't care. I just think I think it's evident that they don't listen to the podcast, because if they did, they would know that I wasn't trying to be like gossipy or judgmental just to be that with her. Right. Like it's just, I've done a lot of research and I could go off, if people want to know details, I could go off for a whole podcast on the details of that. But anyway, back to the sayings, the one that, so there was that one, and it actually comes from a hymn. It's a little different than the hymn, but it actually comes from a hymn out of a different hymn book, not ours, but I loved it. And then President Hinckley would say, be true to who you are and the family name you bear, which I really liked. I was always a proud bean and now I'm a proud tall, But then when I got married,
clarify that, because it sounded like you're saying being.
Oh, bean, like a jelly bean.
So it was Carly Bean, and now it's Carly Tall. So she was. That's what that was.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I went from a noun to an adjective. 4-letter words.
Say that one again. Proud to be what?
What one? Oh, just the be true to who you are and the family name you bear.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but then when I got married, my father-in-law, I can't remember his mom or his grandma that would say, remember who you are and keep your hands to yourself. Like every time you left the house, remember who you are and keep your hands to yourself.
I love it.
So I'll say that one often. But then the latest that we've adopted from another family, I don't even remember who we were talking to, but my husband just picked up on this and loves it. And it's do not add to or detract or add to or detract from the population. Is it add to or yeah. Oh, add to or subtract. Don't add to or subtract from the population. Meaning don't go getting pregnant or committing any horrible crimes.
I see. I like
so
that.
When our kids leave the house,
kids. Yes, I love
do
that.
not add to or subtract from the population.
and they're not hearing remember who you are when they leave or remember your values. I mean, that one is because who's going to be saying that in Seattle? Not a lot of people. I do like that. There's a couple phrases I like. I don't like to say them because they're kind of corny, but I like the meaning behind it. I like I don't like the word err, E''er. Whate'er thou art, act well thy part.
Yeah. I
like that one.
I always liked the, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I mean, it's a very famous phrase, but when I was talking, because the Charlie Kirk preliminary trial was this last week, right? So people got heated and a lot of people, you have your opinions, right? And people either care a lot or they don't care. And my husband was like, I think people just want to be a detective. And I was like, no, don't simplify it like that. You have to understand that it involves a lot. It involves politics, which is why I think people get so heated about it. It involves like geopolitical stuff, right? Like it's global. It involves the justice system. Like there's a lot of stuff involved. And for us, it's very local. I know a lot of people involved. Like for me, it is important. And I mean, one of my best friends has nightmares where she sees it all over again, like every day.
Awful.
Right? Like trauma therapy. She was there with her 21-year-old daughter and had to pick her up and carry her by. Luckily, she had overalls on.
Oh my word.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a big deal for us. But I was talking to my husband about how it's not about being a detective. It's about standing for something and wanting to understand the world that we live in and how it works and truth. Are we being told truth? That's why, I mean, I don't care if it's Tyler Robinson or someone else. I just want to know who killed Charlie Kirk, how and why, right? And I want to know that justice is happening for whoever did it. It's not about solving the case for me. It's about seeing justice done and making sure that the world that we were told that we live in is actually the world that we live in, right? Like you grow up thinking that the justice system, I mean, you're learning in family court. Basically, your experience in family court is what I'm witnessing with the justice system in this case. That it is not as cut and dry as we think, that there are bad people and good people everywhere. Like, I mean, we have to stop. We're over an hour, but I could go off on a lot of things. So anyway, I don't know where I got. How did I get to that?
It was your last quote. What was it? Say it again.
No, the last one was that I had written down. But what was the last one I said? If you don't stand for something, you're fall for anything. That's what it is. Yeah, it's important to stand up for truth. To be a witness for truth and to stand for truth, even at all costs sometimes. Yeah, and that's a scary thought. But that's who Charlie Kirk was. And that's who the people who are trying to get him justice are. And so I really like that too, is, be careful that you stand for something. I know I don't like to get into fights with people in the comment section. And I know that everybody has different experiences but as long as you're standing for something, right? And that you're standing for something that is just and right.
Which is why I've wanted to talk for so long. Because when you're gagged and bound, right, or you're not allowed to speak, like I'm going to freaking tell it's everybody. I can't tell you how many people have sent me the Miley Cyrus quote where she's like, sorry if what you did to me, is coming out to make you look like a bad person, basically, because it's the truth. And sorry if that makes you look bad. That's exactly what I'm doing. And it's not like I don't care at what cost. I care that it's the truth and that it comes out and that people know it, especially my kids. So anyway. My light's starting to burn. I can smell smoke. And
that's a little worrisome.
I know. It's time to go so we can get this up. So we failed with our timer.
Hey, but actually it kept us to about an hour.
Yes. So, well, we average an hour and 6 minutes. And we're at...
Is that our average? Because I feel like every time it's been like an hour 20.
Well, yeah, we had a couple 30. Of those, but yes.
Yeah.
It's also 10:40 and I'm roasting in here. but you guys are going to get this again fresh off the, what's it called?
Press.
Hot off the press.
Yep.
In just a few hours if I can get this uploaded in time. So tell us your family motto, your quote, the saying that you live by. Because
what your favorite thing to stand for is. Everybody's got their passion project, or you should, something that you love to stand for.
My kids will say, I think my kids will put on my tombstone, suck it up. Because they know those are my three favorite words. Suck it up. But it's gotten me through a lot of stuff. Like, suck it up, Julie. Suck it up.
You could say it a little bit more elegantly and just say, endure to the end.
Yes. Persevere. Suck it up.
I do think that suck it up is more relatable. But
it is. It's just, get you right to the core. It's just like when Ari is complaining about this pack on his back. What'd I say? Suck it up,
suck
Ari.
It up. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, buddy. This is real life. Nobody coming to rescue you.
You could reframe it to, you can do hard things. Mm-hmm. You can do hard things.
I know it's so bad because I don't even give him that. I'm like, suck it up, Ari. Guess what? Nobody cares. And that's the truth. Nobody cares that it's heavy, buddy. I care. I'm your mom, but like, suck it up. Nobody cares.
You can do hard things.
Yes, you can. We all can. Thanks for listening, you guys. Tell us your motto, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.